percentage on it?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. There's a 62% chance that we're going to have interoperability.
We're writing it down.
Well, that's right. Look, we will have interoperability. The question is how many economies and countries are part of those interoperable frameworks and how many are outside of it. And I think ultimately, because of the work that's being done on trade agreements, because of the fact that we are all as individual citizens highly interoperable globally, I think that it won't be easy, but I think we will end up with a clear majority of people in the world, well, of economies, being interoperable and adopting frameworks that are consistent with their national traditions, but that also recognize that data within particularly smaller countries, if it's held and prevented from being transferred, that country will be forever within a small walled garden. And so in a large economy like China, they may be able to do that and not be interoperable because they've got the size, the population, the economics. I don't think that's the right approach, but that approach is not going to be the default for the majority of nations for whom I think interoperability, but still recognizing the importance of protecting privacy and confidence and that there are different types of information. I think that whether it's 62% or 70%, but I do think that is the wave of the future. It will not be easy to get there, but that's where I think we end up.
I'll just close by saying, one of the reasons we spend time on panels like this and that the ITC and the OECD and lots of folks are trying to just study and talk about the facts of why data moves, why do different stakeholders move data. It's just an effort to be clear with governments. This is why it's happening, and this is what's at stake if it doesn't happen. And then regulators will make their decisions based on that. But we all want to make sure that policymakers in every country understand why the data is moving and what goal that serves.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you to all our panelists. Really grateful for this conversation and the amount of depth and insights you brought. Interestingly, I was just pulling it up with this last conversation about education. Tom Friedman had a piece yesterday talking about the College Board and the two skills that they want high school kids to have these days are an understanding of the U.S. Constitution, law, and computer sciences. And they think those two things are key for kids to be able to engage in the global economy and be good civic citizens and know their rights. And so I thought that was an interesting jumping off point. We might not get too much into the education aspects here at WIDA, but we certainly will talk about the trade aspects. Really grateful for this discussion. We're going to get into some of the other topics we mentioned and some of the things that were touched on here, privacy being one of those, intellectual property rights, which is another one that was brought up. So we'll be getting into some of those things, the technologies, how they're applied in manufacturing and in other aspects of life. So we'll be getting into a lot of that as well as the e-commerce, and appreciate some of the ways we were framing some of this. I already wrote it down, what did we call it? The International Digital Economy Agreement. So we can start maybe trying to use that phrase a little bit more around WIDA. So thank you all for being here. Look in your inboxes using your technology for more about WIDA's events. We have one next week on Asia-Pacific trade and our congressional trade agenda. You can find all of that on our website. Thank you so much for being here, and look forward to seeing you again soon.